Good morning. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about assignment one. I know I've answered a couple of questions, but I want to kind of go over this and see if you have any more after I'm done. The first assignment asks you to think of a topic. Because you're only going to write one real research paper for the semester, you're going to have lots of smaller assignments that build up towards that. The first one is an idea. So the class is themed around monsters, but I don't want you to think about that in small terms. So typical monsters would be things like vampires, werewolves, zombies, but you don't have to research those topics if you don't want to. Think about what is monstrous to you. When you think of a monster, if you think of something scary, what pops into your head? What in the world is a monster to you? In the past, I've had students write about everything from the more traditional zombie type monster things, but they've also thought more globally about these things, and past topics have included police brutality, racism in America today, gender issues, cancer and other medical issues we have, even so far as going from wanting to write about that to writing about certain charities and how they don't give enough of the money to actual research and actual patients. So you can really write about anything as long as the topic is rooted in something tied to monsters or something monstrous. So it's not, on one hand, it's you get to write about basically whatever you want, but on the other hand, you have a lot to choose from. That's why this week and starting today, I want you to really focus on what you think and get some ideas going. So the first part of assignment one is about 600 words, and it's what I would call an idea discussion. So you need to, when you think of a topic or a couple of topics, go to Wikipedia, do a basic Google search, really find out what you can from just general searches about the topic itself. You're not looking for sources. You're not going to cite anything in this paper, but you are going to kind of tell me what you learned. What is this topic that you've chosen, and basically what did you find out in general about it? And that should be about 600 words. The next section of your assignment, and it's all one assignment, is a brief explanation of the work you need to do to get to the writing stage of the assignment. So you have to think about not just your topic, but what do you want to prove or write about or argue about that topic. This is why you don't have a lot of assignments this week, because this requires a lot of really hard thinking. I'll give you a hint. You will eventually need sources, so that's something that you can put in that section. But you have to think about what you want to argue. For example, let's say you want to argue something about zombies, and you do some research and you find some stuff about zombies. You'll realize that zombies is a huge category. You're going to have to narrow it down. You can't write an 8-page paper about zombies. They write books about zombies. So maybe you want to write about zombie movies. Well, that's still a huge category. There are hundreds of zombie movies. But you can't also just write about movies because you have to argue something. So then you have to think about what zombie movies say or do in our culture, right? When I was in my master's program, I wanted to write about zombie movies. So I wrote about how the movies kind of show our fear of scientific advances, because that's usually what happens to cause an outbreak. It usually starts in a lab of some kind. So that is how you would narrow down the topic from just zombies to what zombies represent in our culture. So all of that would have to take place, and to do that, I would have to watch zombie movies, so you could pick which movies you're going to watch. If you want to do something more like police brutality, that's a huge topic. Maybe you should narrow it down to just Alabama or just Montgomery. Something, you need to find a way to kind of narrow it down, and then think about, what you need to do to be prepared to write a paper about that. And so that's a preliminary kind of defense to your classmates. And again, you don't have to cite specific references in this section. I'm not looking for a works cited page because we haven't talked about that. It's really an idea discussion and showing me and your classmates that you've thought about what you'll need to do to actually get to the point to write a paper. All right. The rhetorical situation is at the bottom of your assignment sheet. You're not writing just to me, right? I want you to think about your audience as your classmates. So we all come from different backgrounds. We have an understanding of the most basic academic and social topics. So write to them and explain to them what your topic is and what you think you need to do to get there. And that will be easier for you, right? And this is due ultimately on February 2nd, but I need you to upload your rough draft, and it should be as complete as possible, because the more complete it is, the more feedback you can get. So you'll upload your rough draft to the discussion board that says Assignment 1 Rough Draft by the end of the day on the 19th, which is Friday of this week. You don't have to worry about peer review this week. I will be posting that for next week. All right. One other thing before I leave you this week. You had 2 readings, an introduction to monsters called Haunting Bodies, and a Why We Crave Horror Movies. You can use the readings that I give you every week as inspiration at this point for maybe a topic. So look at the topics they talk about in those readings and see if that sparks something that's interesting to you. The more interesting or curious you are about the topic, the easier it is to actually complete that assignment. So really don't pick something at random because it's your topic all semester. Pick something you're really interested in and use the readings to kind of help you at this point. And then email me if you have any problems or any questions or you want to talk about potential topics. I am available to you via email. If you want to come to my office next week, you are certainly welcome to, but because of the holiday, I won't be there Monday. I have office hours on Wednesday from 9:30 to 12:30 in LA 144C. Otherwise, send me an email. I'll be happy to discuss these things with you and get you to the point where you can write your rough draft. All right, have a great week, guys.